Mr. DesJarlais.
Thank you. DesJarlais.
Sorry,
and
sir.
That's all right. Everybody
I was
does
going to
that.
screw that up.
Thank you all for coming today. I'm a family practice physician by trade, but I grew up in western South Dakota and obviously a heavy ranch community there. I moved to Tennessee in '93, and my father-in-law raises beef cattle in southern Tennessee. And I wanted to bring some questions to you today from the Tennessee Cattlemen's Association in anticipation of this hearing. We reached out, and so hopefully the questions aren't redundant, but I did want to speak on their behalf. Mr. Bull, we'll start with you. The importance of exports to the economic health of the beef sector has been well established. The question that came forth to me was, how would Mexican retaliatory trade restrictions affect the beef market in the USA?
The Mexican market's really an interesting one. Obviously, Mexican feeder cattle come across the border in the United States. They're fed in the United States by American feeders using American grains, processed in American plants. Quite a bit of the product actually goes back to Mexico. I know during the BSE time, Mexico was probably our #1 market for beef, and is still a very viable market today. And so they're a trading partner from the standpoint of buying and consuming more meat. And I think as we see around the globe, as any country's GDP starts to grow, their per capita growth then fuels their desire for their consumers to actually buy higher valued proteins. And certainly we've seen that in Mexico. The market that we had in Mexico 20 years ago is dramatically different than the market we have today. And they are a growing and vibrant market for our products out of the United States.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Strickland, it's almost impossible to have a conversation with anybody in production agriculture and have it not somehow turn to issues regarding Environmental Protection Agency. One of the issues has already been addressed here in an amendment sponsored by Christy Nome from South Dakota and co-sponsored by many of us, including myself, and that is the dust regulations. Under the proposed EPA regulations, would the EPA be able to come onto your farm in dry weather when cattle kick up dust?
Sir, there's two of us here. One's from Nebraska, which has considerable dust concerns, and then there's me. And our rainfall down in Florida, and most of our cattle are free ranging. Are we concerned about that? Absolutely, because what cost money and undue regulations for the folks that I send my cattle to affects my bottom line. Absolutely. In Florida, we worry about that, and you're absolutely right, because we've dealt with the EPA on numeric nutrient criteria down in my Florida, and we found that some of those overreaching, unobtainable goals, if you will, within EPA, and I've jumped from dust to water, but it appears to be somewhat of a trend that we're concerned about. Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Ms. Burkholder, I had some questions with you about overburdensome government regulations, but after your testimony a bit ago, I don't know that I want to go there because I only have a minute left, and I think we need about 5 days, and I empathize with you. The question that was sent was dealing with the GIPSA, and I guess what we'll do just briefly here, what is the cost and burden of the paperwork and compliance associated with the GIPSA rule changes as you see it?
Biggest thing for me with GIPSA is I don't have a business model anymore. So how do you put a number to that? And so that's a very good question, but a very hard question for me to answer. I'm all about paperwork. I keep a lot of paperwork, whether we're talking about agent source verification records, preconditioning vaccine records, antibiotic use records, records for the EPA. I keep a lot of records. That's part of my job. To put a dollar figure on what that's going to cost me, it's going to ruin my business. I may not be here next year.
Okay. Thank you very much.
May I address the dust issue briefly as well? Is that okay?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
please.
we have a lot of dust in Nebraska. In fact, in Nebraska, cattle outnumber people 4-1. My kids absolutely love that quote. They think it makes them very special. My feed yard is located out in the country, so to speak, and we're about 6 or 7 miles from 2 towns. Each town is roughly 3,000 people. So I live in a very rural area. Dust is something that we live with. Most of the roads that I travel on are gravel roads. I would tell you that we have more dust coming off of our gravel roads than we do coming out of our feed yard. And if EPA pushes this through, we will be continually out of compliance. I could, I suppose, spend $1 million on a sprinkler system to put in my feed yard, but that's not going to control the dust coming off the road right next door. So it really doesn't attain anything for us. And I would tell you that there's no way that Nebraska is ever going to be able to be in compliance.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the additional time.
Thank you, sir. Gentleman from Iowa, Mr.